XRP is making a move, nearly 5% up this morning, now sitting around $3.53. There's a lot happening under the radar. Over the past month, XRP has quietly outperformed major names like Ethereum, SUI, Litecoin, Solana, even Bitcoin, which is surprisingly trailing at the bottom. If this feels familiar, it's because we've seen this pattern before, back in 2018. Take a look at this. In 2017, XRP was the top-performing crypto asset with a staggering 36% gain, while Bitcoin didn't even make the top 10. And back then, even Anthony Pompliano got it. He saw the potential of XRP. Somewhere along the line, something changed. It's almost as if someone whispered in the ear of ex-military intelligence Anthony Pompliano and flipped the script. XRP was gaining on Ethereum and chasing down Bitcoin, until regulation stepped in and changed the game. We've just weathered that storm, that lock-in. And now, the open market is beginning to speak. The truth is, we've never had a truly free one, until now. You know, I've been in this space for a long time. And in my view, this was the turning point. The moment when all the anti-XRP and anti-Ripple forces decided behind closed doors. This project has to be stopped. They threw everything at it. Regulatory chokeholds, coordinated attacks. Then came the big push to crown Bitcoin and Ethereum as the only winners. But what triggered it all? Ripple's announcement that they were locking up XRP in escrow. That was the spark. From that moment on, I believe certain government entities, big banks, and parts of the crypto industry aligned with a common goal. Shut Ripple down. What followed? A full-on assault, regulatory pressure, media spin, twisted narratives, and efforts to monopolize crypto. It all traces back to that point in time. But this week, we came out on top. Here's something that's easy to forget. Just 10 days before that infamous tweet, Ripple hosted a meeting with 15 high-level JP Morgan execs. That's right, inside Ripple HQ. And this meme says it all. Jamie Dimon begging for a taste of that escrow magic, followed by the classic Wall Street twist. XRP is a security. You can't make this up. Oh man. Now all the hardcore Bitcoin maxis are screaming for a $1 million Bitcoin, like their fiscal logic has an even bigger hole than Biden's budget. Look, this isn't complicated. It all comes down to math and the current administration's financial priorities. So yeah, based on that, I can absolutely see Bitcoin doing a 10x from where we are now and hitting that 7-figure mark by 2028. $1 million. And that wasn't just random Twitter noise. That was Arthur Hayes, the guy who built BitMEX, saying this. Now check this. Right before the halving, we hit a new all-time high. $73.5 thousand. That's rare. Some are calling it the end of an epoch, and a potential sign that the next leg up is coming fast. The implication? Bitcoin would have already blasted higher if not for, well, you know. You don't even need to watch the full interview, he straight up says it. He's betting on Bitcoin hitting 1 million this cycle. Alright, here's a truth bomb that might make some folks a little uncomfortable this morning. Over the past year, Bitcoin has pulled in a solid 77% return. Over the last 5 years, about 1,540%. Not bad, right? But let's talk XRP. In just the last year, XRP has climbed 500%. And over 5 years, 1,600%. Yes, it's outpacing Bitcoin. Now, if XRP keeps outperforming BTC at this rate, and Bitcoin actually does make that long forecasted leap to $1 million, then simple math tells us XRP could be worth around $193.05. And that's not just hopium. There's growing chatter about a potential repeat of XRP's epic 2017 to 2018 bull run, the one where it led the entire crypto market. Inside the group today, we're diving deep into that possibility. The price target we're looking at? It might surprise you. It's a big one. And it may actually line up with this 193 calculation. We'll break it all down, track the charts, and explore what it would look like if XRP mirrored that historic rally. Want to join the discussion? Head over to dayxrp.com through Patreon, or just hit the join button right below any of my YouTube videos. You can also follow and subscribe on X to stay plugged in from there. This one's a gem. You're about to hear from one of the co-founders of Chainlink, and what he says perfectly captures just how early we still are in crypto. And I've also added in a clip from Brad Garlinghouse to round it out. So, the big question: if crypto were the internet, what year would it be? Sergey thinks we're somewhere around 1997 or 1998. Surprised? Let him break it down. He compares early crypto tokenization to the early days of email, back when barely anyone had it. People had heard of email, but they didn't actually use it yet. That's where tokenization is now. Real-world asset tokenization? That's like when email finally went mainstream, everyone using it as a basic communication tool. And DeFi? He says DeFi is like early e-commerce, but the kind where you literally mailed checks to Amazon to buy books. No credit cards, no instant online payments, just a handwritten note, a check, and snail mail. That's how early we are. Most people know about crypto, but they're not using it. DeFi is growing, but it's still primitive, like buying something online before the internet even had proper payment rails. We're basically at the phase where you're writing down your book order on a piece of paper, sticking a check in an envelope, and mailing it off, hoping it arrives so Amazon can send your book. That's the state of crypto today, still incredibly early. Here's how I see it. Ripple today reminds me exactly of Amazon back in 1997. If you remember those days, Amazon wasn't the tech giant we know now. It was just Amazon Books, going head-to-head with the likes of Borders and Barnes & Noble. That was its first niche, its entry point. Fast forward to now, Amazon dominates everything from cloud computing to groceries. Ripple's story is following a similar arc. Right now, our Amazon Books moment is cross-border payments. That's the first vertical we're tackling. But make no mistake, the foundation is being laid. Just like Amazon evolved far beyond books, Ripple is positioning itself to expand into much more. The signs are all there. The writing's on the wall. Now take a look at this. This is the same guy from Chainlink again, and he makes a really interesting point. He says that people who aren't part of the Chainlink community often struggle to understand it. And honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it's kind of a sign that what they're building is deeply technical and complex by nature. If it's hard to explain, it's probably even harder to build. And that level of complexity takes time, serious time. And that's exactly what he's getting at. It's a slow grind, but once it's ready, it could end up powering everything behind the scenes. Which instantly reminded me of Brad Garlinghouse's famous painting. Laugh now, but one day, XRP will power the world. The vision is the same. They might not get it now, but they will. Let me say this again, loud and clear. In my opinion, we're going to see about 30 to 50 true blue-chip utility tokens emerge, projects that the future financial system will be built on. And if I had to rank them, the XRP ledger is right at the top of that list. Chainlink's up there too, no question. I've talked about a handful of others that I believe are going to be in that elite group as well. And look, people ask me all the time, which tokens do you like? What are you watching? Here's my advice. Watch the rooms. Pay attention to the meetings happening in places like the White House. Look at who's at the table. Because more often than not, those players are directly connected to the infrastructure that's being built. And if you really want to know where the smart money is going, focus on the blockchains that this new system will be built on. That's where the long-term value will be. Right now, I'm almost entirely focused on XRP, but if I were investing in anything else, I'd still come back to this key moment. Shout out to Smoke for resurfacing this, because this was the chess move that changed everything when Ripple placed XRP into escrow. They did it to eliminate any doubt about future supply, total transparency. And that move, in my opinion, is what triggered a coordinated backlash. It's like the bad actors saw their control slipping and pulled every lever to stop Ripple and XRP in their tracks. At the time, Ripple made it clear they planned to use XRP strategically, to incentivize market makers with tighter spreads and to sell XRP to institutional players. This would gradually introduce XRP into the market, not dump it all at once, which would crash the price. But what happened next? Well, what we've seen over the last 5 to 7 years is no different than political manipulation. They built a narrative, a manufactured lie, then unleashed the media machine to repeat it non-stop. CNBC, mainstream news, controlled channels, they all echoed the same script. But the XRP army never bought it. We didn't fall for it. And that's why we're here now, perfectly positioned to capitalize on what comes next. Here's a powerful moment from David Schwartz, and this was before the Genius Act ever came into play. He lays it out plainly. We already have the tech that could let every financial institution on the planet settle with any other, across any compatible legal system, using any asset, in just seconds, and for less than a penny. Let that sink in. Anyone who's ever tried to make a cross-border payment knows we're nowhere close to that right now. But the technology? It's here. It exists. It's ready. The challenge isn't the tech, it's adoption. And why hasn't adoption happened yet? Well, that's where things get political. You've got legacy giants, big banks, entrenched players, powerful institutions, who benefit from the current system. If you're JP Morgan and you're sitting at the top, why would you want to speed up a future that threatens your lead? Instead, you delay, you stall, you talk about how you support innovation, while pulling strings to slow it down. Cue the Ripple lawsuit. Classic move. Pretend it's about regulation, when really, it's just about control. But here's the reality. They tried to stop it. They lost. We won. All right, let me give you 589 guesses who in the crypto space has been laser-focused on fixing the outdated plumbing of our global payment systems for over a decade. Yep, you already know. Dent in the universe, Tom. Let's talk about Genius, because this is the foundation, the framework, the launch pad for everything that's coming next, and here's Bo Hines from the President's Crypto Council, laying it out. Genius is unlike anything we've seen. While everyone's debating market structure, which we care about too, this bill directly modernizes the rails of the US financial system. And he's not exaggerating. The way we communicate has evolved dramatically over the last few decades, but the way we move money, practically unchanged. Archaic, stuck in the past. Now we've got the tech, blockchain, to fix the plumbing. Genius is setting the stage not just to update the system, but to secure US dollar dominance for decades. If you want to tap into our capital markets, you'll need to use a dollar-backed stablecoin. Genius also paves the way for tokenized securities, 24/7 markets, and a future we've only dreamed about. This is nothing short of revolutionary legislation, and it doesn't stop there. Bo talks about the global impact, aka the ripple effect, pun fully intended. We're going to see countries around the world follow America's lead, just like they always do. Companies that went offshore, they'll start coming home. Our message? Welcome back. And here's the big one. He believes Genius makes central bank digital currencies CBDCs obsolete. With the Anti-CBDC Act in the mix, this bill essentially ends the need for government-backed digital currencies. Why would anyone use a state-controlled token when private innovation offers something better? There are massive nuanced changes baked into Genius. It's a win for America, and a signal to the rest of the world. Get ready, because we're leading the way.